Give me your thoughts on this preseason game tonight, man. The key takeaway here, man.
Looked like the first unit did not want to play tonight.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's the biggest takeaway. And look, I get it. You just traveled back from Abu Dhabi. Josh Hart's injured. You want to save your legs for what really matters most, which is the regular season. But as we have here, shout out to Christian Winfield. Mike Brown. I'm just going to go off this. Mike Brown says the Knicks played this entire game without a single play call, just reading the opponent and reacting accordingly. Says he wants the team to learn to play off of instinct before they begin running sets. And so I get that it's a preseason game. There were moments where they were trying to create their own shot. I thought they could do a little bit better, man. Because look, you're implementing a new system. I know it's preseason, but time's a ticking, man. I mean, I know it's an 82 game regular season, but you kind of want to get there. So I was hoping that they would be a little bit more crisp in this one, especially going against a team that also went to the conference finals in the West, right? So a little bit more competitive than going against the 76ers, but would like to see a little bit more from the starting unit. What'd you think?
Yeah, definitely would have loved to see more from the starting unit. I mean, welcome home to the team. They certainly didn't get the home bounce from the rims. So, you saw some rust there, their first game at the Garden. And even though, one of the key takeaways from this one was that the Knicks shot 57 threes in this game, 57 three-pointer shot in this game. And look, watching the game and looking at how things flowed, I didn't necessarily think they were bad threes. I just think by and large, both teams were bricking from three. I mean, the Knicks in the entire preseason have been off from three. They shoot 26 from three tonight. Timberwolves were better. They did finish shooting 40, but I don't think it was all that much better when their starters were in. But overall, I think the Knicks got some quality looks there. They just weren't knocking them down. On a good night, you get half of those down, you're blowing the team out of the water. So I'm not too concerned there. I want to see them getting near that 40 attempt mark. You're going to have to compete with the Clevelands, the OKCs, hey, even the Pacers at times. You're going to have to get your three-point mark up there if you're really going to be able to compete. So I wasn't too worried about that. On the positive, I think Mikal Bridges has looked the best in this preseason of all Knicks, to be honest with you. I think on both ends of the floor, Mikal Bridges has been solid, man. 15 points tonight for Bridges, 6 of 12 from the field. I feel like you could see offensively where he's just more comfortable. I think it could be a chemistry thing, just getting the first-year jitters out of the way. He just seems more locked in. He seems more comfortable. Mike Brown has been speaking highly of him this entire training camp and preseason. Defensively, he talked about wanting to move Mikal Bridges around on the court. We've been seeing that. We're seeing the three-pointers look good. They're getting him out in transition. He's attacking the basket.
Yes. Had some good layups, man.
Had some good layups. It's a new Mikal Bridges out there tonight.
Hey, what was it? I think it was I don't remember. I think it was an inbound play. He just comes flying down the lane, gets a nice layup off the backboard. I'm like, all right. He's been doing a lot more of that the last 3 games. And so I think to your point, yeah, he's getting more comfortable. I mean, we saw it during Summer League. He was there right next to Coach Brown, trying to create that familiarity, that camaraderie that's needed in order to succeed, right? Everyone's got to be bought in. And I think, we know the frustration that he had last season, playing a lot of minutes, not being utilized probably the way that he wanted to first year with the Knicks under Tom Thibodeau. And what we're seeing right now is Mike Brown being creative to make sure that he gets looks, he gets time, he gets opportunities to initiate the offense, being a little bit more than just a 3-and-D type of guy. Like, he was essentially a high-end 3-and-D type of guy last season with a midi, right? When things broke down, he would get the opportunities to go do something for himself. And what we're seeing right now is that there's going to be a lot more cutting, a lot more ball movement, a lot more easier shots that are trying to be generated. Obviously, tonight was a big emphasis on creating paint touches, which is another thing. Shout out to Chris Persianen, who talks about Mike Brown saying, hey, he's looking for guys to get 2 feet in the paint and then spray. And they said, according to Chris right here, it says, Mike Brown, this is what Mike Brown said. We always tell our guys to play off of 2 feet, play off of 2 feet. when they hit that paint, play the spray game. We ended up with 23 sprays for the game, which is pretty good. We didn't shoot it well, but that's okay. We went through tough stretches where we I don't have the rest right here. I got to open it up because I'm reading through Slack.
Where we took great shots.
We took great shots. Thank you.
Yep.
CP.
Yep.
That's teamwork right there. That's teamwork. See?
Yeah, absolutely.
Couldn't find it. CP got me.
I got it up, and I'm about to put it up for the good people in the chat. So to everybody in the chat once again, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Yep, we got it up right here. We tell our guys to play off of 2 feet, and when they hit the paint, play the spray game. We ended up with 23 sprays for the game, which is pretty good. We didn't shoot the ball well, but that's okay. We went through stretches where we took great shots. So, yeah, I definitely saw that. I agree with Coach there. I'm not mad at the missed shots. What you want to see is how they generate those looks, and I thought by and large it was pretty decent. From the starters, Cat looked a little bit out of sorts, but again, not really too worried about that. The Clarkson experiment is going to take some getting used to, but like I said,
bro. But you got to admit, though, he's got some good vision. Like when he wants to find somebody, he's got a good vision.
Yes, and you said the key word, when he wants to. So you know that it's going to be a internal struggle all year long because you're going to want to see him anticipate and see that pass that you see on the TV, but it ain't always gonna be that glorious. It ain't gonna be all that glamorous.
It's not, man. It's gonna be the another J.R. Smith type of experiment.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna be, and I understand what's gonna be more frustrating, especially when you got Deuce out there, you got Yabusele out there, and those guys, you see it. Those guys are ready to share the rock, find the right space. That's not what Clarkson can do that. But his thing is like, get me the rock. I'll go get this tough shot. How about, I forget who, I think it might have been against Rudy Gobert. He has this like tough flip shot in the paint. And you're like, hey, like that's what he's brought in here to do. And so it's going to be a tough balance for him, man, where it's, you're going to have the green light because you are Jordan Clarkson. That's what you're known for doing. But how do we keep guys, how do we rein him in to make sure that he's part of the system where you watch everybody else, man, drive, kick, move the rock, make sure that he's involved with that, but not take him away from what he's capable of doing. It's going to be a delicate balance, man. I'm very curious to see how Mike Brown does that because we know what happened with Malik Monk out in Sacramento. He got him to be the 6th man of the year. Can he do that? Can he, bring that wisdom and just get Jordan Clarkson on that path?
Yeah, it's going to be left to be seen, man. Very interesting. So that was Mike Brown. Mikal Bridges, good game. Mitchie defensively, solid. He got the best of Gobert. Was a pest out there, and I just love seeing sequences where it's like OG harassing a guy, and the guy desperately shakes OG, and then he's got to deal with Mitchie at the rim. Hey, it's going to be tough on opposing offenses, man. They're going to make it tough.
You could say it was Randall, man. We all saw it. Rand got past OG, and then next thing you see Mitch right there. He's like, snap, man. This guy.
yeah. Mitchie was not having it. So I thought Mitchie was in regular season form, so much so he didn't even play in the second half. They started the second half with the starting four with Yabusele taking Mitchell Robinson's place. So going to be a little bit interesting there. Yabusele, he's another one who it's going to take some time to figure out how to best get him utilized. But I think it's going to be on those guards. It's going to be on Deuce and Clarkson because those are going to be the first 2 guards off the bench. It's going to be interesting to see, can they get him good quality looks, either in the pick and pop scenarios, pick and roll scenarios, and when he gets them, because he's not going to be getting the ball all that much, can he be efficient with his touches? I'm going to be interested to see that with Yabusele this year.
Absolutely. And look, with this up-tempo pace that Mike Brown is looking to implement, you should be creating more possessions. So you should be creating more opportunities for teammates to get a look with the rock in their hands, right? So it's everyone buying in, making sure that when you get past half court, with like 20 some odd seconds to go, maybe a high teens, right? And just keep moving the rock around until you find that better shot. And for Yabu, man, like this is the problem with having a deep team, right? Everyone, you got to make sure everyone's involved because once again, it comes back to that delicate balance. Let's just even talk about Mitch, like in the seasons past, right?
Yeah.
Where he talks about wanting to be involved in the offense and not just being, a defensive guy, right? You're seeing that this season where early on in games, he'll set a screen, run to the rim, guys are looking for him while he's just diving the lane, right? You gotta have to be doing the same thing for Yabu as well. But that's gonna be once again, guys just figuring out how to keep that balance, man. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. And look, this is what Mike Brown's talking about. This is why he wanted to see, can guys just no plays called tonight? Can guys just get into the paint, spray it out to three? Once you start implementing sets, right? You're gonna have to honor those sets and understand the counters that come with it when people are defending them at a high level. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to master for this new offense that Mike Brown wants to implement.
For sure. And I think that was something that needed to be kind of cleared up with fans in terms of the Brown and the Tibbs situation. In the preseason, in the off season when Brown got hired, and a lot of the guys we spoke to, a lot of the people hinted at the fact that Brown does run a read and react style offense. All right. And believe it or not, so do a lot of teams in the NBA. You know what I mean? So sometimes I think we get a little bit, I think we mischaracterize Tibbs in terms of, his offense is outdated, it's outdated. No, a lot of teams run that. Now, they do run different sets, and you can say that maybe Tibbs' sets weren't always the best in terms of maximizing the roster potential. But by and large, when he says the game tells you what to do, guess what? That's what Mike Brown was trying to get these guys to see tonight. So it ain't too far. Now, again, in certain situations, would he get a little isolation heavy Tibbs versus
We saw it tonight.
What versus Mike Brown? What Mike Brown might do? Well, that's the hope. That's the hope. But this is a read and react style offense. This will be a read and react style offense. So get used to it.
And look, bro, we saw that tonight too. It was in the second quarter where, shots weren't falling, guys looking for answers. I mean, even in the first quarter, right? We saw guys just chucking shots and not really creating good looks for anybody. But in that second quarter, we start to see Jalen Brunson just take control and be who he is. And it's like, oh, this is a familiar place. I've seen this before. And you're gonna have to expect that. There's not every play is going to work and create easy shots. And when you're playing a team, and look, like I said, the Timberwolves are also a team that made it to the conference finals in their conference, right? Like Knicks made it to the ECF, Timberwolves made it to the WCF. And so these two teams are essentially the same caliber when it comes to talent, expectations, all of those things, right? And so even if you have all these design plays, all these sets that you want to run, it's not all going to work out and be perfect, right? So when things get muddy, what's going to happen? Who's going to be able to create shots? And I'm expecting to see nights where you're going to have Brunson, right? But the goal is, what the goal should be for this team, though, if you brought in Mike Brown, you should be able to get some more sets and better looks and not have that slugfest that we saw throughout the postseason, right? Isn't that what you're expecting?
Yeah. That is the hope, and I think that's the hope from this team and from this organization. So we'll see. Let's get to the phones, man. STG Nick, STG on the Discord. Getting on mute your mic, STG.
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Good, man. Were you in the building tonight?
It was. I was in the building. Yeah, it was great to be back in there and to see the guys. But can we qualify this? Does this qualify as it wasn't pretty, but it was gritty? Because
well, you know what? We got to give credit to the 3-guard unit of Brogdon, Clarkson, and Deuce, along with Dadier, and they had Gershon or Dadier and Hakporti, the French connection, for getting the team back on track, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought those guys, especially late third, early fourth, is kind of when they took the charge there. And I give it to the Garden Faithful because they were cheering when Garrison Matthews and Tyler Kolek hit the go-ahead three to make it 90-88. They were still into it, which is good to see. But one thing that I definitely was interested was the rotations, because I liked what I saw in the limited minutes from Malcolm Brogdon, and he was basically playing with four other guys that are probably not going to make the team.
Yeah.
And he didn't play at all in the first half. I thought Shamet was good, but I like what I see from Brogdon. So I don't know what they're going to do there in terms of the rotation. And then also like Jordan Clarkson is it's an experience. The first shot he took was like a pull up three, and I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's some nice baskets. My favorite play of the game though was the captain setting the tone with the he dove for the ball,
Yes, he did.
and then he gave it to OG, and then the lob to Yabusele. So you always like seeing that from your leader in the first game back in preseason.
Yeah.
Definitely sets the tone there.
And that was on Mikal Bridges, and Mike Brown talked about Mikal Bridges' ability as a chaser off of screens, and he never really gives up on a play, and you kind of saw that as a classic example, and he ends up with the assist, Brunson with the hockey assist over to Yabusele for the alley-oop. It's nice.
Definitely. And also, speaking of Mikal, I mean, in person, the jumper looks better. I mean, he's getting more lift on it, and it's a quicker release than it was last year. Definitely something I noticed as well.